Welcome to another part of my Management Accounts Automation Masterclass. If you've landed here without context, I recommend starting with the introduction video. It's linked below. Everything you need to follow along is in the description. Let's get into it. Okay, time for the figures to go into the trial balance. Let's have this vertical look again. Okay, so we need figures between these two dates, and the formula we're going to use is sum ifs, so we can have multiple conditions. So we want to sum if the net value if the date. Now, first of all, we want the account to match. So if the full account name equals to our full account name, and now the dates. So the dates have to be between these. So first condition is for the transaction date to be greater or equal to this, and we will fix it. Fix just row, and then transaction date has to also be less than or equal to end of period. And again, we will fix the row, and I think that's all we need. Let's see what we get. I'm going to make it bigger for now. First of all, I'm going to make it looking nicer. Okay, that's what I want. And instead of checking whether this, okay, it does balance, but I'm going to add a check here, so I can see it, sum this. And I'm going to have this check across. Don't worry about the error for now. I want it red any time, just as a check. Okay, so is that, so the trial balance balances. Let's try to copy it. And again, I want that style to be applied like just everywhere. So this does not balance. Okay, so there is something wrong with this formula. It does pick up correct. No, it moved. Okay, so I need to fix this column B, so I don't want it to move. So now it balances, but is it still okay? Let's have a look at retained earnings is 0. That's wrong to start with. What else doesn't look right? And again, it would have probably been easier to look at it if they appeared in the same order as the chart of accounts, but anyway, we can work with this as well. So I think, so this is in between, this is in between. So balance sheet is fine. No, balance sheet is not fine because it picks up. So P&L figures are okay because P&L figures, we need everything added up between these two dates. Balance sheet, we don't actually want all the transactions just between these 2 days. We want everything up to and including this date. So from day 1 of incorporation, everything needs to be in the balance sheet. And then retained earnings has to be a total of all P&L transactions up to the day before the start of this year. So we basically need three formulas, three conditions here to deal with three different things: balance sheet, P&L, and retained earnings. So to make it easier to write, I'm going to use just like pointers for now. So we want if we know that this part of the formula is okay for balance for our P&L, that works. So if, but we want something else for retained earnings. So if this account, this column equals retained earnings, then return something, say 1. Otherwise, and let's put it in a new line. Otherwise, if this column now, because we want to deal with balance sheet items, if this column is balance sheet, then return something else, say 2. Otherwise, return 3, which is a result for P&L, which we already have. So let's see if that works in principle. Something is wrong somewhere. If maybe one more. Okay, right. So we have for retained earnings we have 1, for balance sheet we have 2, and for the P&L accounts we have our original formula, which is fine. That works in principle. Now we have to replace it with a proper function. So let's start with retained earnings. So we want, again, some ifs, data, net value, because that doesn't change. We want account name to be, we don't actually care about account name. We just, because we already have this condition, the account name will be this. We want this column in the table to be equal to P&L, because that's all we're interested. We want to sum all of the P&L transactions, which are before up to and including 28th or 29th of Feb 23. So the data, I did that again. Data okay, so this was P&L and data transaction. Not right. Okay, transaction date must be less than, just less than the start of the year. And we will fix the row. So that should, let's just check at this stage. If it's balance sheet, then this. Not happy with it. Okay, because I didn't close the end. Okay, so now we have a figure for retained earnings, and we're just missing a figure for balance sheet items. So balance sheet items, we need to replace the two with a formula. Again, sum ifs, what will it be? We will sum if net value again. When full account is equal to a particular account. So we'll need this condition as well. So we basically need this part, and transaction date will have to be, okay, so I'm going to just borrow this formula so I have less typing, and I'm just going to adjust the date. So it's exactly the same part of the formula, just date has to be less than or equal to end of the period. So everything is added up, and that's row 5. I need to close the bracket. Okay, so now I believe this formula is correct. Let's copy it across and just see if, okay, there's something going on here. Retained earnings. Okay, so it looks like it duplicated retained earnings for some reason. Let's see if it happens somewhere else as well. No, just in this one. That's strange. Again, okay, I did not fix the column B here with retained earnings. I need to fix it so it doesn't move. Now it doesn't move. Okay, so let's just copy it again. Although, hold on, there's something else. Oh, there's another one here in balance sheet. I need to fix it here. So I need to fix column A here because this one can't move, this one can't move. So B and A have to be fixed, okay? And now we can copy and everything works perfectly. And retained earnings should be the same throughout the year. And that's fine. And they should change in the current year and also remain the same. And this figure should now be a total of retained earnings at the year end, previous year end, plus all the P&L that went into that year. So that matches. Is that total with this? So our trial balance is correct. We can check it against QuickBooks, but I have already done so. So that is definitely a correct balance, trial balance. And we've got all 12 of them. So we really can do a lot now and a lot easier when it comes to filling the reports with the figures. Next, I'm going to add, underneath the trial balance, I'm going to add some, not some, I'm going to add just monthly P&Ls. Because these are quite handy as well for filling up the reports. And bear in mind that this is only done once and it updates, it's dynamic, updates automatically based on this data and based on the reporting period. So it's not like you have to do any of these every month, just once, set and forget. So based on experience, I found the section with just P&L by month very useful for multiple purposes. So I'm going to add a section here. Well, this can be on a separate tab next to the trial balances, however you want it, but I like to have it underneath. So I'm going to repeat the same columns. And actually want to keep some space. And in terms of months, I may just bring this and this. But I want this to be text. Month, year. Okay, so just indication that this is my monthly, and I may even borrow the formatting. And this can be just bold. Okay, never mind. Now, yeah, I'll make it bold. So here I'm just interested in P&L. So I'm going to filter this array based on this array being equal P&L. And my array A is fixed, column A, so I can copy it here and copy it here. So these are just P&L accounts. This is just for extra confirmation. And now I can write a similar formula for profit and loss. However, okay, I'm going to abandon this idea actually. I'm going to this, I can just put it one up. And now I'm going to start with the same date. So previous year, beginning of the year, and end with end of month, the same month. So I just want month ends, month dates. So this will be +1, and this can be copied. So this works for, because now I don't want year-to-date P&Ls. I want just monthly P&Ls. That's what I'm doing this. Will it work here? Yes. And now I can copy this formula. Okay, so that's, by the way, this is, we are reporting for in December, so in theory there shouldn't be anything showing in for January and February, but there are some entries already. Well, one reason is just demo data, which has data in it already going forward. But even if you're real life, you're reporting in December, you may already have some journals and transactions posted in future months. So it's up to you. You can just ignore it because they're not consequential. They can just sit in the trial balance, or you can adjust the formula and say if the current period is future, then show 0, otherwise show the trial balance. So that's an optional thing. I'm going to leave it here. So now this is this should actually, now we should be able to use the same formula now, just adjust it. So for P&L it was this one, and this should work for us, except I need to adjust the arrays. So we now want to start in B58, and the dates are now in 56 and 57. So 56, 57, and again I want this nice formatting. copy it across and see if the monthly P&L. I'm going to put it here. Maybe add some, and that's some. This is actually, that was our revenue and the cost was less than that. So this is actually a profit. I may want to show it as minus. Okay, so these are monthly P&Ls. There was a loss in 1 month and loss again. Okay. So we've got TVs, we've got monthly P&Ls. The one last thing is that I want to keep some space between the trial balance and the P&L section. I may even give it some color. And I want to keep that spacing dynamic. So I think I'm going to claim these rows, free row. I'm going to claim all of these so that it doesn't allow, this one is fine. It doesn't allow the trial balance to spill. This is the final one. So this is what I want to keep. Just make it less visible. So this is the spacing that I want to keep, and the range for these trial balance accounts will not spill below the current place. So if next month it is longer, which means it requires more space, we will have a spill error, which means if we look at it, it was trying to spill, but it was blocked by one of those rows that I want to keep, and obviously everything else goes out of shape. But all we need, and we can easily quickly see how many rows we need to add, in this case just one, and everything comes back to shape, including our P&L section. But if there were more rows missing, if it required more space, then we would also see how many rows do we need to add and keep adding them until it spills comfortably. Okay, so now we have all that we need to populate the reports with the figures. I'm just going to give this a color. So this is all our drivers that we will be adding on as and when we need them for some reports. This is data that comes from the data sources file, so we don't do anything to it. And TB, also, now that it's set, we also don't do anything to it. So I'm just going to have it green as well. Actually, one last, I think I already said one last thing. One last thing is that I want to add period numbers. I'm not sure I want them dynamic. For now, I don't want them. I'm not going to use the sequence. I'm just going to, if sequence works better, I will change it. But for now, I'm just going to do it like this. So I want period numbers, month numbers. And I think this is it for now. If we need anything else, we will find out and we will add it as and when. Thanks for watching. You're one step closer to a fully automated month end. And remember, you don't need to go through the entire masterclass before you start seeing results. Each layer we build adds practical automation that you can apply immediately to your own work. By the end of the series, you'll have everything you need to implement the full system to your own data. And if you'd prefer support or want the system implemented for your company, you can contact me through my website. I'll see you in the next lesson.